And welcome to Lunchtime Politics, reaching you live from our global headquarters here in the nation's commercial nerve center, Lagos. I'm Jeffrey Uzangon. Here's what's coming up on the program right now. People's Democratic Party Legacy Coalition in Edo State asks party leadership and the state government to rethink its action in allegedly relegating some members that it warns of possible consequence. National Assembly resumes plenary in renovated hallowed chambers after about 2 years of repairs. Speaker of the House of Representatives calls for collaboration with the executive as it reflects on happenings in the country. A simultaneous multiple hikes in prices of goods and services will examine its impact on the quality of lives of Nigerians who endure the effect of this hardship on a daily basis. Thanks again for joining us on the program. We begin the tracking of the polity from the renovated or newly renovated chambers of the National Assembly that has been under repairs in the last 2 years, forcing lawmakers to utilize alternative spaces. At the resumption of plenary today in the House of Representatives after the public holidays, the Speaker, Mr. Tajuddin Abbas, commended the federal government for its commitment to the renovation and technological upgrade. Mr. Abbas, while reflecting on the various issues that played in the polity during the recess, including security and economic concerns, asked his colleagues to collaborate with the federal government to advance development. The Speaker also hinted on what he terms the inaugural House Open Week in June to mark the 25th anniversary of the National Assembly since its return to democracy, where citizens will engage directly with their representatives. And then away from the National Assembly, all may not be well with the People's Democratic Party in Edo State, as the division in the state chapter of the party appears to be widening. This comes as some leaders of the party under the aegis of the PDP Legacy Coalition have issued what they call a yellow card to the party in the state, asking it to reconsider its actions or action it has taken to allegedly relegate members of the coalition. During a meeting of the group in Edo Central and Edo Central and North Senatorial District, the National Vice Chairman South of the PDP, Mr. Dan Obi, also touched on the impeachment of the Deputy Governor, Philip Shaibu. Our correspondent, Jessica Logbasher, has details.
Representatives of the PDP Legacy Coalition from the 5 local government areas that make up Edo Central Senatorial District have turned out for a leaders and stakeholders meeting in this town hall in Irua, Eastern Central Local Government area of Edo State.
Yes,
Aside from leaders from the area, including a former governorship aspirant, Felix Ahabwe, a former House of Representatives member, Omorigi Ogbedeyama, the National Vice Chairman South of the PDP, Dan Obi, and recently impeached Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu are also here for the meeting.
PDP, power to the people.
Critical issues bordering on the forthcoming governorship election and the coalition stance are highlighted.
People that have no idea of how party politics and government formed by political parties should be managed have hijacked the PDP and its soul in Edo State. Governor Obaseki taught us Edo not be Lagos. He will not now go to Lagos to go and bring a candidate for us.
The promises we made to Edo people, until I see concrete steps in government part to fulfill them, I will not be able to face anybody to say vote PDP at the next election.
Mr. Ahabwe is also firm on his position concerning the PDP Governorship Election Campaign Council.
That I saw my name as a member of the campaign council, Governorship Campaign Council of Edo State. I can't be a member of the campaign council. I was not told, I was not informed, I was not consulted, and I can't be a member of that body because I don't believe what they are doing.
Prior to this engagement with stakeholders in Edo Central, a similar exercise took place in Edo North. Mr. Obi took out time to touch on the impeachment of Deputy Governor Philip Shaibu.
All that we are hearing from the
government side is political differences about your right to exercise your constitutional right to say, I want to contest for the governorship of Edo State. Be assured that we are with you, we will stand by you, and we will do everything to support you in your quest for justice.
The experience has not detracted from Mr. Shaibu's resilience.
Moving forward is looking forward to September 21st and getting an own boy to be the governor of Edo State. And that is what is on my agenda right now.
The Legacy Coalition considers its message to the Edo PDP a yellow card. Major decisions to show its members are resolute, it says, will unfold real soon. Jessica Ubuse, Channels Television News.
Well, it appears interesting times await the People's Democratic Party in Edo State with what you just saw and what is playing out. But we did tell you that the National Assembly has been renovated for over 2 years, or about 2 years or so. The chambers, those are the pictures, the renovated National Assembly, excuse me. So a couple of these members, almost most of them, are new members of the 10th Assembly. So that's the picture we're seeing from the House of Representatives. This is where they will now execute the business of legislation, beginning from today, where we understand the Electoral Act Amendment Bill is on the order paper. It's going to be a light day at the National Assembly because they have other engagement. Maybe tomorrow there's going to be a full swing. So for a lot of the members who are new to the National Assembly, they've dreamt of being here, and they are finally here. So we're just in there to bring you that update as far as the renovated work. So we understand electronics, technology, upgrade, and all of that. So we hope that the voting in the National Assembly will now be electronic. We hope so that we can track how each member votes on each issue right there. Let's move on now. A Competition and Consumer Protection Tribunal sitting in Abuja has restrained MultiChoice Nigeria Limited from increasing its tariff and cost of products and services scheduled to begin tomorrow, May the 1st. The three-member tribunal, presided over by Saratu Shafi, gave the interim order following an ex parte motion moved by Ejiro Awaritome, counsel for the applicant, Mr. Festus Onifade. In the ruling, the tribunal held that the order is pending the hearing and determination of the motion on notice filed before it. The tribunal also directed all parties in the suit to appear before it on May the 7th at 10 a.m. For the hearing and determination of the motion on notice. The petitioner dragged MultiChoice Nigeria Limited and the Federal Competition and Consumer Protection Commission, FCCPC, before the tribunal after the company hiked the prices of all its packages on April the 1st. And more stories now. Insensitive is how the Senate Committee on Power has described the recent hike in electricity tariff. The committee is therefore demanding affordable tariff and also wants the increase to be halted for consultation to be carried out in order to alleviate the sufferings of Nigerians. The lawmakers made their position known at an investigative hearing on the electricity tariff hike in Abuja, where the Minister of Power also raised concerns about sustainability of the power sector without tariff increase. Our National Assembly correspondent, Gloria Mezoke, reports.
Committee members here.
The hike in electricity tariff in the face of the power drought in many parts of the country is at the heart of conversations here at this one-day investigative hearing. The Minister of Power, the Electricity Regulatory Commission, Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, the CBN and other stakeholders appear before the committee as the lawmakers raise questions bordering on the inefficiency in the sector.
What you have just done, because that's the kind of conversation we're having here. Can we really classify Nigerians into these different categories? We made it a conditional tariff. We made it a service-reflective tariff. On this, I can actually assure Nigerians that any customer that is not enjoying 20 hours will not pay the new tariff regime.
Stakeholders took turns to share their perspectives and fears.
We are calling for a reversal and a suspension of the implementation of the new tariff to enable all stakeholders to have meaningful dialogue around the process and methodology of determining the electricity tariff, as well as jointly agreeing on the transparent mechanism required for tariff setting.
As reality sank, the atmosphere became charged.
Minister, you are not going to be minister forever. You will become like us, maybe in the next 4 years. And you are going to face this problem. I'm just telling you. No, you are not like me now. You are privileged. Minister, those policies are not working. You have to go back to the drawing board. Rethink about them. Come back with a better solution is beg these companies, beg Siemens or ABB to take over this. They have the resources to run this thing. It's not too late.
As senators and a lot of our neighbors, we monitored what we get for Band A, and it is nowhere, not even 50% of what the discos say we are to get, and that we can verify.
Other lawmakers are also clearly dissatisfied, expressly blaming the minister.
The issue of removal of subsidy, we are there. If you are comfortable at home, are a lot of people so comfortable? There's no way we can add this electricity increase now to petroleum subsidy removal at the same time and expect people not to be suffocated. In the past, there were no consequences for such actions. Somebody takes 22 or 50-something billion and he says he cannot appear before the Senate. What is the EFCC doing? Is it only for politicians? Is it only for individuals?
As the nation continues to groan under the brunt of the protracted challenge, the minister makes one demand to engender a short to medium-term solution.
Let us use this 15% Band A as a proof of concept. Let's use it as a pilot. And let's use it as if it's a sacrifice that we all must be receptive to the step that we have taken. It was not targeted at hurting Nigerians further. Impressed on the generators. We want to improve generation to 6,000. If the people want tariff to remain at this level, in 3 months, sincerely, the entire country will be in darkness. I can assure you that. And God forbid. But we need to make progress.
The lawmakers are apparently left more dissatisfied than when they began. They have thrown a challenge to the federal government to introduce strategies that would improve the ailing sector, as they promise to wield the big stick on any agency found culpable. From the National Assembly, Gloria Umezuki, Channels Television News.
We're not done with issues of hikes. Senior advocate of Nigerian rights activist Mr. Femi Adesina is again frowned at the latest announcement of the increment on price of electricity. Mr. Adesina explains that the Minister of Power has failed to address the question of the illegality of the tariff, and a notice has been issued for further action. He spoke on our program, Politics Today.
The Minister of Power, Mr. Adebayo Adelabo, has failed to address the question of illegality of the tariff. Section 116 of the Electricity Act 2023 provides that before an increase can be approved and announced, there has to be a public hearing conducted based on the request of the discourse to have increase in electricity tariff. That was not done. So, up to now, neither the minister nor the National Electricity Regulatory Commission has explained why the impunity that characterizes the increase can be allowed. And that is why I've already given, as requested by the law, I've already given a notice to the commission that because, these guys are running Nigeria on the basis of impunity, and we cannot continue like this. The increase was anchored on the directive of the commission that customers in Band A will have uninterrupted electricity supply for at least 20 hours a day. That directive has been violated on a daily basis. So on what basis can you justify the increase in electricity tariff?
Well, it's a tough time, or it's been a tough period for Nigerians across the board. Right now, a lot of people are still at the fuel station trying to get fuel. Some have been there since yesterday. Some are there this morning. They've been there this afternoon, and it continues. We don't know when this is going to blow over. The president has said in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, that he knows that the decision or policies of the government, paraphrasing him, is quite brutal but necessary, and he's going to get blowbacks. But he says that this is necessary to, in his words, reset the economy and put it on a path of growth. That debate is on and off as to whether it was well thought out or thought through before this decision was made. We've been joined on the program by Mr. Marcel Okeke to help us make sense of what's going on as far as all of this is concerned. He's a political economist. Mr. Okeke, thank you so much for coming on the program. All right, Mr. Marcel, if you can hear me. Can you hear me, Mr. Marcel? All right, then, I guess we're having a bit of a connection problem, the internet and all of that. But well, before as we try to get him on the program, there's been, I call it an avalanche, a price avalanche, literally. So many moving parts at the end of the day that this has happened to electricity tariff, especially those on Band A, who have been complaining that even with the increase in their amounts from what it was to what it is, over 200% or so increase or 150% increase, they haven't really seen the power. Some of us haven't had power for like 4 days. We eventually got yesterday. There's also the telcos contemplating what they call cost-reflective increase, meaning that there's so many things happening in their sector that they need to, more than ever, as at yesterday, begin to think of increasing the cost of getting telecommunications service. So you know what that, how that can impact the economy and the security of the country. We also have the DSTV and GoTV subscription model that increased, but that case is under adjudication right now. Someone took them to court. That increase that was effected early this month, and of course, it's going to be heard tomorrow. So all of these, who is at the receiving end? Nigerians are at the receiving end. So that argument is on and off as to when will all this be over? What is stabilization in terms of how the economists define this? Did the government really think through? Because they say in Nigeria, things always go up and never return back to where they were. I also have some data from SBM Intelligence. Most of these guys who collate and analyze numbers as far as increases are concerned from all kinds of products from Q1 of 2023 to Q1 of 2024. But those are the things that my guest, Mr. Marcel Okeke, political economist, will help me break down. Mr. Marcel, are you there now? Mr. Okeke, are you there? All right, if you can unmute, Mr. Okeke, I just wanted to get your take on what Nigerians have to face. I know you're a Nigerian, of course, and you are facing the issue of fuel scarcity, electricity tariff hike. Telcos are contemplating cost-reflective tariff. And of course, if you use the subscription of the DSTV, all of this, just help us to make sense of how this is playing out and impacting the economy at large. Mr. Okeke, if you can unmute. Oh boy. All right. So from what I have, I wish I could put this up on the screen, but in a moment, I should be able to put this up on the screen. Some basic things like fast moving goods and all of that, from your beverages to your bread. I'm seeing scary numbers in terms of increases. Some things you used to buy for 600, now buy for 1,800. But we'll go on this quick break. And when we return, we hope that we can get Mr. Okeke to weigh in on this particular issue. Join us again. Let's go on this quick break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Before we get into that conversation, let's also tell you that the governors of the 19 northern states are meeting in Kaduna. The meeting is taking place at the Kashim Ibrahim Government House. This is the second time the governors are meeting this year to discuss issues that affect the region. Last week, 10 of the northern governors from the frontline states, that concerns its security, attended a security conference organized by the United States Institute of Peace in Washington, D.C. The meeting was meant to seek solutions to their common security challenges. Governors who are already present are Professor Babagana Zulum of Borno State, Governor Ubasani, that's the host governor, Governor Inuwayaya of Gombe State, who is also the chairman of the Northern Governors Forum, and the Deputy Governor of Yobe State. So that's Bala Mohammed, the Governor of Bauchi State, also being welcomed there by Ms. Arwan, who is the Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs. So given the prevailing situation that has bedeviled the region for a long time, this is why these meetings are absolutely necessary. We can see Nasarawa State Governor as well, Sulai Sule, and other governors in this particular meeting. We're keeping our ears and eyes on this meeting to find out exactly what the outcome is at the end of the day. Let's hope that we can get Mr. Marcel Okeke. Mr. Okeke, can you hear me now?
Very clearly, very clearly. I'm hearing you.
Well, I don't know which of the problems you had to deal with for us to have this challenge. Whether it was fuel, you were on your way down, or it's telcos, I'm not sure. But whatever it is, we needed to weigh in on this issue. I call it a price hike avalanche. Everywhere you turn, the prices are just going up. Of course, by the statistics, we know that inflation is at 33.2 and 40% for food. We can reel out all the numbers. It's becoming a repeat and rinse situation. How do you think this is impacting the economy?
All those things you mentioned are very bad omen for the economy. It means that the end of the problem or the challenges are not in sight. The end is not in sight yet. Because you have mentioned the inflation figure for March at 3.2%. So it means that all things being equal, inflation spike, the rise in inflation will continue, and the hardship on the people in terms of cost of living will continue to go higher and higher and higher. Cost of living, okay? And for businesses, the environment will become more inclement because cost of production, anything you are producing, the cost of producing that will go up because there's fuel scarcity, which means the price of PMS has gone up, then transportation, then say basic food items you mentioned, and so on and so forth. So if somebody is producing anything and you feed this into the cost of producing whatever, you bring it to the market, you have to transfer it to the ultimate consumer, and all this will add up to higher inflation. Inflation spike, going up and going up and going up. And if you permit me, this is in line with what the IMF outlook that they just published, that between 2013 and 2023, the GDP of Nigeria has gone down by half. Instead of the 510 billion in 2014, as at the end of 2013, that we're having 252 billion. And instead of ranking the largest economy in Africa, that we are now the fourth largest economy in Africa, and the IMF ended up saying that when this situation will change for Nigeria to begin to grow and assume the first position, it's not foreseeable. Okay? So when you add all the things you have said and what I've said now, you see that you can agree with the IMF. So the situation is getting tougher and tougher. That's all I have to say for now.
Does this sound like the 1 trillion naira aspiration, the size of our economy in, say, the next 7 or so years by the president is close to a mirage? If, for instance, the IMF has also upgraded our GDP growth rate to about 3.2 or so, does it mean that this dream of a 1 trillion naira is very far? $1 trillion, I should say, I beg your pardon.
Well, you know, it's a vision, or if you like, you can call it a dream in the next 5 or 7 years or so. So we will not be able to say right away, because this is by next month, this year, this administration will just be 1 year in office. So as ambitious as that is, you may not use this first year to, just assess them, completely. So, but this beginning does not in any way, give the impression that target or that vision, will be achieved. Okay? Because like I told them in another forum, the challenge is that the government took up on 40 foundation. 40 foundation meaning the approach, it adopted in announcing the major policies like fuel subsidy removal and the flotation of the naira. So the culmination of the outcomes of those policies are what are still impacting on the economy. As we speak, we don't have serious functioning refineries that produce PMS in this economy now. And until that happens, the challenge of PMS supply and the importation will still be a serious one. And that is what is playing out now. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Okeke, winding down, we just have barely a minute or so to the end of the day. The president has, again, defended this policy in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, where he talked about that this was necessary. He said he understands that he's going to get a blowback. The policy will get a blowback in the economy, but I don't know whether he understood that it's going to be to this extent. But on the other hand, with increases in terms of interest rates by the monetary authority, they've also said that this has attracted FPIs on one hand. And then the Minister of Power is also saying that, look, hiking prices or tariff is also seeing positive, is showing positive signs for investors to come and invest in the sector that is challenged. So where do we find this balance? On one hand, we're trying to attract investors by raising numbers, whether it's interest rates or tariff or whatever. On the other hand, it's impacting negatively on the people.
For me, dispassionately speaking, some of the policies the government is coming up with, some of the policies are acting as counterpoise. Some of the policies are acting as counterpoise to each other, canceling some of the gains from some of them. Okay? For instance, the raising of MPR, then in the capital market, that made the treasury bill attractive because of the interest rates and all that, and we started having foreign portfolio investors coming in. But that is hot money, Foreign portfolio investment is hot money, and the CDN is using it, using what is coming in, to be playing in the foreign exchange market. And that is not sustainable, because these people that brought in through foreign portfolio investors could want to cash out anytime, and we have the challenge of how to allow them effectively cash out. We have the challenge of acute shortage of dollars. So that one is still there. That one is still there on one hand. On the other hand, the entire investment climate is becoming inclement by the policies. Because when you hike electricity.
My apologies. We're totally out of time. My sincere apologies. Apparently, we have a lot to talk about. There's another forum for us to talk about it. Thank you so much for your time, Mr. Marcel Okeke, political economist. Thank you for coming on the program.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
And that's it on the program. Thank you for your time and company. I'm Jeff Ruzoma. Bye-bye.